The mission of the Positive Schools Center is to promote positive, supportive, and mindful learning communities where students and school staff connect, develop, and grow. According to the National School Climate Center, school climate refers to the quality and character of school life. School climate is based on patterns of students, parents, and school personnel's experience of school life and reflects norms, goals, values, interpersonal relationships, teaching and learning practices, and organizational structures. There are 5 key pillars of school climate and 5 supporting elements. The 5 supporting elements are trauma-responsive educational practices, restorative and healing approaches, racial justice and equity, social, emotional, and character development, and student, family, and community voice. 5 supporting elements hold up each of the key pillars and are critical to the pillar's success. The key pillars are leadership, positive relationships, engaging teaching and learning, environment, and health and safety. Each of the key pillars should be evaluated within the context of each of the supporting elements and vice versa. For example, what is school leadership's approach to racial justice and equity? Or how do students, family, and community members have a voice about the school's teaching and learning? Trauma-responsive educational practices. Many teachers and school leaders have trained on being trauma-informed, but often find themselves at a standstill when it comes to action. We believe there needs to be a shift from just being trauma-informed to being trauma-responsive. School staff should be given tools and taught skills to address trauma, to reduce further trauma, and decrease crisis situations. Restorative and healing approaches. Teachers and staff should practice restorative and healing skills with their students as part of the curriculum, rather than as an added learning module. Restorative practices should be trained and implemented at a whole school level. Every person who is part of a school staff should be practicing skills and conversing from a strengths perspective. A school who is using these practices as part of daily interaction will provide their students with a safe and supportive environment to learn. Racial justice and equity. Daily interactions with students must be viewed through a racial justice and equity lens. School staff's implicit bias and racism directly shapes a youth's perception of themselves and others. We believe that school staff should be actively aware of the historical and contemporary structural racism that affect youth development. Teachers and school leadership should have tools and skills to approach racial equity and healing and cross-racial community building as part of their everyday working school relationship with students, parents, and the community. Social, emotional, and character development. Students learn more than just academic content at their schools. Schools are a place where students interact and learn life skills for their future. Schools must see themselves as an educator of human development rather than just academics. Often, educators put this responsibility on parents and caregivers and ignore that students spend half or more of their day in the school building and in their care. Educators must have the tools and skills to learn and execute social and emotional development. Student, family, and community voice. School is supposed to be a safe place where a student can learn how to feel secure about him or herself and be supported without judgment. This cannot be done without input from students, their families, and the community in which the school resides. Schools should be inclusive of all 3 voices when making decisions that affect the school community and the neighborhood. This allows for successful partnerships and the fluidity of cohesiveness in a community. Schools must see themselves as an active part of the community at large. Every event and relationship in the school and community will affect students and families. We must press that every person in a neighborhood has an influence on each child. It takes a village to raise a child. In this training, we will explore each of these 5 core pillars in depth learning from the experiences of educators in Baltimore City, and reflecting on how to incorporate the Positive School Centers model in your school.